Welcome to episode 43 of It's No Secret Podcast Live. We are your hosts, Teresa, Shars, and Bianca Rose. Say hello, ladies.
Hey, hey.
Hello.
It's another Wednesday.
It's another Wednesday.
Your turn, Shar. Not just kidding. She's like, I'm done with you guys. How are you guys?
Good.
Good.
Good? Yeah. Happy to be here, I hope.
Yeah,
Yeah,
ecstatic.
Always.
It's therapy
Yeah.
time. It's therapy time. For anyone who is already watching us live on our YouTube, our Instagram, or our Facebook Live, first of all, thank you guys for watching. And we look forward to all the participation that you guys always give us. We love y'all.
I'm
But
like Cinderella. I love the attention.
we do. But if you've ever watched our episodes before, you know we always start with our highs and lows. Of course, we're going to start with our lows first. That way, we pick up the momentum a little bit later. So I'll go first. My low for this week happened on Friday, Thursday night into Friday morning. I unfortunately had to take my toddler to the ER, and we spent the entire day at the ER with her. She's doing much better now, which is why I'm still smiling. But it was a rough day, rough couple nights, not a lot of sleep after that too. So, but she's doing better now and things are getting better. But as a parent, it sucks. It sucks going to hospitals and doctors looking at you like, what do you want to do? Do you want to do this or do you want to do
I
that?
always feel like as a parent at some point, especially first-time parents too, how scared it must be, and then how like you must feel like, did I fail? Did I do something wrong? And you just start contemplating like, they're gonna judge me.
And let me tell you, mom guilt is a real fucking
I
thing.
bet.
Like the whole time we were there, even on the drive there, it's like, well, what could I have done differently? Should I have come sooner? Should I wait too long? What, like just all kinds of shit are going through.
And then you're gonna feel like the doctors are asking you similar questions, and it's like, oh my god,
Yes.
like he was right. Yeah, very
Yes.
scary. Very. I'm glad she's okay though.
Yes, me too. Me too. Shari, what was your low?
Let's see. My low was actually today. My brother, aka your husband, is a total jerk. And he sent me a picture of mom's pozole today and really hurt my feelings. So I wanted to cry. And that was my low because
I
That was
wanted to
diabolical.
cry.
That was disrespectful.
disrespectful.
And you should. I really wish you guys could have seen his face while he was doing it too. Like he was enjoying it. He was
I
like,
bet.
I'm gonna take
Gabe,
Shari.
if you're watching this, watch your back.
The disrespect. So my brother gave me my low for the week. I love you too, brother.
Oh,
Siblings is like,
yeah. B,
No.
what's your low?
My low is that I am just generally tired this week. I feel like I've been busy a lot, so it's finally catching up to me. I'm just overall exhausted, tired.
Yes.
I took some melatonin last night. Oh, I needed that. It was so good. I'm about to do it again tonight.
Got another date with melatonin tonight.
Another date with them.
Yes.
Love you in advance.
Yes. Real quick, Jada Countessa said, glad she's feeling better. Poor baby. Thank you, Nikita. Yeah, she's much, much better now. But on a positive note, we're going to switch over to our highs. I have all kinds of highs this week, you guys. I'm not going to lie. Even though we had a trip to the ER, I'm feeling like God's favorite this week because my parents are in town, which I've been talking about on the show for the last 2 weeks. They're here, just seeing them, seeing Gabby, like, kind of build her relationship with them a little bit more because she never really gets to see them. I mean, the last time my dad saw her, she was 4 months old. So, it's
Wow, I didn't realize it's been that long.
yeah, that I saw my dad. Yeah. My mom came about 1.5 years or so ago, but my dad, it's been 4 years that he last came. And so it's just so nice to see them bonding and him trying to teach her Spanish because I'm a horrible mother and haven't taught her how to properly speak Spanish. But it's so nice. And, opposite to Shari's low, I got to eat pozole today. So, yeah.
She kept just rubbing it in our faces in the group chat, everyone. It's not even
I should.
fair. We're like, I can
I
taste the
could taste the
picture.
picture. Jada Contessa said how tiny Teresa's mom was. Yes. If you guys think I'm short, my mom is like a whole head shorter than me. So yeah, she's a itty bitty.
Oh, precious.
Shari, what was your high this week?
I was gonna say I think I was God's favorite this week, but I'll let you
Okay. No, we can share.
We can share. We can
Yeah.
all be favorites.
Yeah, I kind of had a few highs this week too. Yesterday was a much needed rest day, and so I was blessed with that, and I just unplugged a little bit from the world, and that was awesome.
Always nice.
Yeah, and got to spend some time with my honey, and then I got to see him again today on a fluke. So I was like, "Oh my God, twice in a row, 2 days in a row! Look at me, I'm God's favorite. I must be." And then it was so funny. There's a kid that I work with, and like he hardly ever speaks to me. Like he hardly ever says anything. And like he literally walks up to me with his arms out, and I was like, okay, a hug, sure, why not, right? But like, it's
Yeah.
awkward. Like, I hug all the kids, but like with him, it's awkward because I've never even exchanged more than 5 words with this kid. And I was
Aw.
like, okay, and he was like, where you been? And I was like, I was only not here yesterday. He's like, it
Aw.
feels like it's been forever since I've seen you. And I'm like, I see these kids every morning because like I pass out their food and stuff. But it was just so cute in that moment. I was like, oh, now you're gonna guilt trip me into coming to work every day because now I feel bad.
He's like, I had a routine. I was supposed to see you in the hallway, and I didn't see you, and I didn't know
It was
what day
like
it was.
so cute. Like it just totally made my day today. I was like, oh, that was really cute.
He was missing, giving you the look and ignoring you. Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, okay, cool. Here, take this hug, kid. Like it was cute though.
That is
But
cute.
yeah.
Aw. B, what was your
I
high?
love that. My high is that although I'm tired, I've been really busy just being very social. So being very social as in like hanging out with a lot of friends and just enjoying some time together. I've been spending a lot of quality time with a
Oh,
lot of
good.
friends. So it's always good laughs, good fun times, dancing, laughing. A lot of things that we shouldn't be doing, but
That's
it's
And
been
you get
good.
your 4 in the morning.
fun weekends. Yes.
Yeah.
That's why she's so tired.
Yeah. Once you cross that 30 bridge, it's totally different. You definitely
It is hard. Nobody told me this, or maybe they did and I didn't listen because I was 20 something and I knew everything. But now that it's experiencing it firsthand, maybe I didn't know everything.
I'm on that.
I'm not going to say y'all were right. I'm just
Yeah.
saying I
You
might be
don't have to.
wrong.
We know. No, I'm just kidding. Real quick, Jada Countess on our YouTube did share her high. She said, my high was getting a text message that my plant was in stock and drifting over to get it. I'm going to need you to stop drifting everywhere, ma'am.
No, actually, I got that text message from her. She was like, our lady at Rainbow Gardens, shout out Rainbow Gardens, actually like texted her and
Wow.
was like, hey, I remember y'all were talking about these plants. It's in stock. And the fact that an employee remembered a conversation, remembered her, and said, you know who's going to love this? Nikita's going to love
Yeah.
this. It's like those kind of moments.
That
you
just
kinda
goes to
enjoy.
show you how much money you guys spend there.
All right, we
All
have
right,
to.
that part.
We didn't come to be attacked. She didn't come to be
She's
attacked.
like,
We're
"Ooh, I
celebrating.
need
We're
my
doing
My bad.
highs.
My
What
bad.
I know who to contact."
I need to sell this. Let me call Nikita. She said drift or die.
Oh my goodness.
Some of those plants are in high demand.
I just tell her to put it
Get
to
them
the
now or get them
side.
never.
It's all right. It's all right. Take your time. Take your time. All right. Well, today's show is a fun-filled adventure of all things roommates. And this came up because like 2 episodes ago, Bianca was spilling the beans about some story about her and her roommates, and everybody wants to know now. So we're gonna just talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly that comes with roommates and everything under the sun. So first and foremost, let's make sure we've all had roommates. Have we all had a roommate or two that we have lived with?
Absolutely. I've had a few roommates
Shari's
actually.
kind of like,
And keep in mind, roommates aren't just like friends. Like it could be family, it could be moving in with a new partner. Y'all start out as roommates too, figuring
yes,
things out. So
you go
not
through
just
those same
friends.
phases with a partner too.
Mm-hmm.
I literally was thinking about this before the show and was like, with my fingers, like, okay. So I've had like a total of like 7 different roommates in my life that were not family. Um, and then have always had kids my entire adult life. So it's
Did they have kids too, or
some of them, yeah. Rosa, Sheila, yep, a couple of them had kids too. Yeah, so
okay, all right,
it was a
some
family affair.
dynamics.
um,
When they
it
say it
takes a
takes a
village. It
village.
sure the fuck does, let me tell you. But I can honestly say that like I never had roommates that I was like, "Oh my god, I fucking hate living with this person," and things like that. Like, I've personally never experienced that before.
So you've always ended roommate
I
arrangements on a
have,
good note.
yeah, I have.
What's that like?
I am God's favorite. No, I'm just kidding. No, I mean, we always just had understandings, but I also I feel like I've always done a pretty good job when moving in with people, having like all those important conversations before we even move in together. Figuring
Mhm.
out the finances and how are we splitting this and things like that. Especially like
Well, let's talk about that. What are like roommates are not something that it's not something that you just jump into. There are some things that you have to talk about
there's people
beforehand.
that do jump into
Otherwise,
it.
are you even compatible? So,
There's I said there's
what?
definitely people that do jump into it, and that's a big
Yeah.
mistake, is what I will say when it comes to that. Like, don't
Well, let's avoid some
yeah,
of those
don't
mistakes.
jump into
So,
it.
with having those conversations, and you kind of started naming off some of those conversations. So let's kind of get into it because I had that conversation with my last pair of roommates, and I didn't with
Mm,
others. So they both, the two that I can think of, um, obviously they didn't work out. So conversation or not, sometimes you're just not compatible
yeah.
regardless. So let's talk about the conversations that are had before moving in.
So have you guys you've had roommates. So Shari, you're saying you haven't. I mean,
I mean, I
aside from
get like,
family.
yeah, family more so than roommates.
No, you had a roommate.
My sister's
You
here
had a
right
roommate.
now.
Mo.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Roommate. Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
I was like, should I say her name? Should I
So
not?
all around that.
See, let
I
me
know,
paste it on
right?
the
Let me
side. Let
let
me
me
see.
text you real quick. But I mean, you've had a roommate. Yeah.
Leave it up to your best friend to remember shit that you don't
Right. I
about your
take
own
notes.
life.
I have dates. No, I'm just kidding. Those were the days when she was cheating on me. No, I'm just kidding.
Ooh, Shisui's in the comments.
Welcome
Welcome
back,
back,
Sue.
Shisui. You weren't here
No.
last week,
Vacation's over.
but said I've had some of the best roommates and some of the best times with them, but never
Interesting.
again.
All right. Well, okay, so going back to the conversations, what types of conversations do you guys feel are important in general, whether you had them or not, to have when it comes to rent?
The first thing is
Yes.
finances. I mean, how we got to stay living. The roof has to stay
Mhm.
over our heads, right?
And
So
I think a close
finances.
next is like the rules. Like not rules, but like the rules.
The
Like
rules, yeah.
yeah. Especially when you have kids involved. I think there have to be certain things
Mm.
in place.
There's a lot of considerations,
Mm,
lifestyles. Um, Again, financial is a big thing, but
yeah.
responsibilities, depending if you're living in an apartment or a house, because there's a house has a lot more
Yes.
Hmm.
maintenance. So, guests,
Yes.
um,
Chores,
cleanliness, chores,
groceries.
groceries,
Yeah.
private spaces. Guys,
On
we
and
can
on.
go
Yeah.
on and on about
No,
this.
there's so many factors involved with roommates, whether they're partners, friends, family. I think it's important to have those conversations though. Like, especially when it comes to finances, it's like, all right, how much are we paying for the rent? I come with,
Mhm.
well, when I was younger and had roommates, one kid. So I came with a kid and like, there was times where in conversation I'm like, maybe I should pay a little bit more because my kid's going to be there too, or, things like
Mm.
that. And sometimes people agree, sometimes people disagree. And that's kind of where the problems start to roll in a little bit. Jada Countessa also agreed. She said, finances, expectations for levels of noise. I've never had that conversation, to be honest with you. Cleanliness, I have, and visitors, I have as well, especially when I was single, because
Mm.
I was going to have some visitors.
Well, let's go back to finance because I think that is again that is a big thing, and without spilling a lot of beans, that was something that we did discuss beforehand. The last roommates that I had, we did discuss finance, and that became a
Yeah.
problem. So, um, whether it be how the bills are split, who does what accounts, that can be tricky
Mhm.
too. Like we all have access to the same portal for rent, but when it comes to like water, light, Wi-Fi, we all have each an account, but then we're all trying
Collect.
to kind of allocate money. It's like, oh well, that's $60 and that one's $20, so I should just pay you $20. Like the math gets a little bit difficult. And then with the wages that people
Yeah.
make. So yes, what you can afford, and I guess like how when you expect rent to be paid, because that was another big issue that I had run into
Mm.
towards the end.
Now that's definitely a big issue. Like for me, I'll be completely blunt with people. Like when it comes to how much we make, that's not a factor to me. This is how much the
Mm,
rent is. This is how many of us are living here. So this is how we're splitting the rent. And
yeah.
include all those bills into that rent total and split it. Now going back to what
Yeah.
you said though, it is a little complicated when it comes to accounts and who's going to pay what bill and that kind of thing. Are we each putting in our own portion of the rent? Like
Hmm.
it does get very complicated, but I think that comes with the relationship and knowing who you're moving in with, right?
Mm,
Because I was particular about the people that I lived with, even though I have had a lot of roommates. But let's be frank, in California, you kind of needed it to just survive. And I had a kid, so yeah, I definitely could use the help. But like, you have to definitely know who you're gonna move in with and kind of what they are like morally and financially, responsibilities type stuff.
hmm.
But even then, sometimes you go into it thinking what these people are like. And when you live with somebody, like you see sides of people that you never saw before.
Mhm.
So it's
Yeah.
like, my question to you guys is how do you guys handle those situations where you're like, "Oh, I already paid my portions, but now this person's late."
Hmm. I don't. I'm not going to highlight Shisui's comment because half that isn't true. But he did say just to tell the story already. I married them. Some of the roommates that I had are married. I did marry them, so we were close friends. So that should let you know that we were close friends. Um, it's just towards the end, again, like I said, regardless of having the in-depth conversation prior to moving in, they stop consider like taking me into
Mm,
consideration, my worries, my concerns. For example, for the rent thing, like if I paid my rent to my portion beforehand and it's the first and they still haven't paid, that's fine. There's a grace period. Then there's the second, then the third, then the fourth happened, the fourth day, and I'm like, the y'all's portion still isn't paid. Do we have a problem? Is this something that we need to talk about? Because now it's not y'all's problem, it's our problem. Because y'all aren't gonna get evicted, we're gonna get
right.
evicted. And so they started leaving me out of those kind of conversations. Like if you are struggling, even if I said, if you don't have it now, I know you'll have it. I confront it. I just need to be prepared for that. And so living on edge with, is that going to be paid, or am I going to come home to an eviction notice because they can't communicate? And that's a big thing. If you don't communicate with your roommates, whether you can pay something or not, that needs to be
Mhm.
known. You can't just, some of those problems that you are having are not just your own, especially if it affects
Yeah.
other people. And so that's a big thing of why sometimes the roommate situations doesn't work out, and this just so happened to
Yep.
be that case.
Agreed. I'll be honest with you, I just don't play that shit. I'm sorry. Like, I don't. Especially like I said, my entire adult life, I had my son with me because I had him when I was 20. So every roommate situation I've ever been in, he has too. And so if you're
Mm,
gonna put not just my livelihood, but my child's livelihood, nah. No, now we have
mhm.
problems. Like, now it's gonna be a
Yeah.
bigger issue. Now I may kick you the fuck out and we'll just be here without you. Like, you know what I mean? So
Mhm.
it's it gets complicated though. It gets complicated, but I'm glad you mentioned communication because that's really what it comes down to. Because I've had roommates that are like, damn, T, I'm not gonna be able to pay this on time. Like I'll have the money on this date or
Mhm.
whatever, but they let me know in advance. And then I could be like, all right, I'll cover for you for now, or fuck it, we'll just pay
Mhm.
the late fee, whatever the case might be, but we
Yeah.
can talk about it at least.
Yeah. And that was the thing too, is not only that, it's communicating, but also if I'm giving you full control over one account, so rent mortgage portal, that's shared. So I can see whether they paid or not.
Mhm.
I came across one month where I'm like, you know what? Let me call. I don't have the light account, but let me call and let me be a good person. Let me try to pay this and just gift the light bill this month. And called, and turns out that they hadn't paid it, and this was already going on the second month. But I've been given my portion, so I'm like, well, where is that
Right.
going? I didn't have any awareness of what was going on. So I'm like, where's my money going if it's not to what it's supposed
Eesh.
to be?
Yeah.
So lack of control too is a big
Yeah.
thing.
Yes, I think for me that's always the struggle. It's like if I'm gonna do it and be in that situation, like I have to have the control over paying stuff. Um, because it's just frustrating to not like that's one thing like I take pride in is like prioritizing like my bills and my finances and taking care of that
Mhm.
stuff. And so like
Mhm.
I need to know for my comfort level like that things are being done and taken care of. So it's like I need to be in control. Pay me, give me your portion, I'll pay it. Like it
Mhm.
just makes everything a lot
Yeah.
easier for me personally in that type of situation.
I will.
And that was the thing too. I had asked beforehand. I'm like, has anyone ever been late on a payment? Has
Mm.
anyone, me going through my own damn background check? I was like, have you ever been evicted, a felon, or anything like? I'm trying to go like, cross all the
Yeah.
T's, dot all the I's, and I'm trying to prevent something from happening. But again, lack of communication and lack of consideration was a big thing, because if I can express a concern, it doesn't matter to them. But if they have the same concern, now it's an
Mm.
issue. So it's like, it works both
But a
ways.
lot of people are just selfish. Like, there's just a lot of people in the world that all they're worried about is them, and they don't give a shit about anybody else, and those are the people you
Yeah.
don't need to live with. You know what I mean?
It's just sad that you have to find out in the midst
Yeah.
of it. You don't know
Yeah.
beforehand. But there's a lot of complications that come with
Mhm.
roommates. There are also some good things that come. So
Yeah.
let's switch it to a lighter note for a
Well,
second, because there are some
first
benefits
of
to
all,
roommates.
financially, you're getting help.
In this
Yeah, you're getting
economy,
help
baby.
because good God almighty, right? Everything's fucking expensive, especially now. So
Yep.
yeah, you definitely get help, sometimes when you're tired and you don't want to cook or clean, you have another pair of hands there. Like,
Yeah, that other pair of hands came in handy for me, especially when I
mhm.
worked late. My dog is taken care of, and I can guarantee that. Like, it was always nice to know that my dog is fed. She did, they took care of her when I wasn't there, especially if I went out of town or something.
Yeah.
They were there. And having that, even for me, I had a hard day. They
Yeah.
were there for me. That was emotional
Yeah,
support.
I think that's the other thing, right? Emotional support. It's like you have someone to come home to and just talk to about your day and vent, get things off your chest so you're not like carrying that shit around. Real quick, I want to
Hmm.
catch us up on some comments over here. Becky Flowers, hi mom. She's here.
Hey, Ma. She's
Is
in
she?
Vegas right
That's
now,
why she was
so
2 hours behind, yeah.
she's 2 hours
She said
behind.
family and friends will take advantage thinking you're okay with it and not thinking of your financial status. I wanted to call this one out because ironically, a lot of the people I had to cover for were partners, not friends that I lived with.
Mm.
And so, yeah, sure know how to pick up. But like, you know what I mean? Like it's those situations where people get real comfortable and they start to slip a little bit, you know, or they're like, I know she's gonna get it because I too am like Shari. Like, I
Mm.
need to make sure these bills are taken care of before I think of anything else.
Mm-hmm.
I,
Mm.
I don't I don't think about anything else. I don't even remember sometimes like the last time I bought myself some clothes, things like that, because I need to make sure
Yeah.
everything else is taken care of first. And so yeah, it there are people that just kind of take advantage of the fact that they know I'm that way.
Or
And
assume
so
that or you have it that way.
mhm, exactly. Shisui said, when I had my roommates, I had control of the internet. So if you didn't pay rent in enough time, I'd turn it off. But to me, to me, that's like, we are fucking grown. We do not need to be doing that
At
shit.
that point, it's like you're raising kids.
Yes.
Like, it
Right.
shouldn't be that way.
Yeah.
I mean, kudos because I'm like, fuck it, I'll unplug the internet. I'll turn off someone's phone if I had the opportunity to. Wait till I have
Right.
kids. I'm gonna be
That's
terrorizing
real.
them.
That's real petty, though. That's also real
It
petty.
is.
Is there anything? She's already singing Cardi B. Is there any petty moments that you guys have had in your roommate situations?
I can only tell you the times that I've been on the shit end of the stick because to me, I'm perfect.
Shar, what about you?
Petty moments. No, I just like for me, like I just shut down. I just quit communicating. I quit talking. Like I
Mm.
don't have time to like and I mean some people may view it as petty. Like there's been times when like even living with family now, like I'll just be like, you know what, I'm going home to cook for me and my kids. Like I don't have time to deal with other people because it's just too many opinions and this and that. And so like if you want to call that petty, but like I'm just focusing on my priorities. They're what I need to focus on. So I don't know if, people may call it petty, but that's just everyone's opinion, I
Yeah.
guess.
But that pettiness comes from lack of communication all over again because you're not addressing the issue.
Mm-mm.
You're just acting out or projecting in some type of way.
Yeah, like I said, but see that's me though. I shut down. I just won't talk. I won't communicate. I'm
That's
not
me.
great at
I'm not
communicating.
confrontational. That's why I'm like, I can't tell you when I was petty.
I'll say
I hid
something.
in my room.
I'll say something. Leave it to me. Speaking of petty, real quick, Gabe put in the chat, Mama Razo's Pozole plus It's No Secret podcast episode on equals heaven on earth.
Sit and
Really
spin.
desperate
How
today.
about that?
And Shisui is here again saying, not petty, but my old roommates and I have fought each other at some point when we lived together. That's what happens when you live with all dudes.
Mm.
Mm.
No, so I've had another friend a guy friend who lived with all guy roommates, and he was like, that was the best time of my life. We were all best friends. And I'm like, how, like, is it easier for guys to be roommates than it is for girls?
I think it depends on the person
Mm-hmm.
because all of my roommates, aside from partners, have been girls.
Mm.
And I'm telling you, like, I don't know, maybe I was just real lucky, but like I had really great roommates and we all were similar as far as like we're pretty chill. We openly communicate, you know what I mean? Things like that. Gabe, sorry. He said, "Aw, sister." Shars, I love you too.
No, you don't.
Jada Countess said yes about food, using the last of something when she knew she didn't buy it. Communal spaces, communal things. That's another
That's
thing.
another conversation to be had
Yeah.
though, because it's like when it comes to groceries, like are we just buying groceries for the house and are
Mm.
we all just contributing to a pot for money for
Mhm.
groceries? Or are we like, this is my shit, that's your shit? I'll be honest with you, I never had that issue. I don't know if it's just me being raised by my mom and the way that she is, because she just likes to feed people. I'm similar in that way when it comes to like hosting. I want to make sure everyone's comfortable. I want to make sure everyone's fed, things like that. So, like in my roommate situations, I feel like we never even had to have that conversation. It was just always kind of an understanding of like, oh, I got the groceries this time. Oh, they'd be like, oh, T, I got them next time. Thanks for picking that up. Like, but we shared everything just fine. Like,
Mm,
groceries, laundry detergent, toilet paper, like necessities
yeah.
that we have for the house.
But that's the thing too, because you said laundry detergent. I got triggered.
I'm
I got
sorry.
triggered so bad.
Hey,
You saw
Sorry.
my face. My eye was switching for a little bit
so
because, like,
funny.
some of those communal things, like, you also have to be considerate that if you do use the last of it, that you should replace it. It doesn't
Or at least
matter,
let somebody know.
who used. Yeah, you got to be reasonable with it.
Mhm.
But just so we kind of mentioned something like that's what happens when you live with all dudes. And I kind of want to ask, how many
Mm.
roommates? What was the most roommates that you had? How much is too much? How many are too many roommates?
So the most roommates that I had at one time was it was 3 adults, myself included.
Hmm.
There was 3 adults, 3 women, and 2 children.
Mm.
Um, that was the most I ever had. Yeah. What about you guys?
I'm gonna go family with this one because I had a packed house.
She
Six
ran out of fingers.
total. Six total in the
Oh,
house.
wow. Okay.
Yeah, everyone had partners and a child and me, and
Oh.
then not to mention all the pets because I wasn't the only one with a pet. There
Mm.
was 6 people total in the house and 1, 2, 3, 4 dogs, 1 cat.
Oh my god.
So,
That's a packed
it was a
house.
very packed house.
Shari, what about you?
Yeah, for me it's family too, and so it's like been 7,
Jesus Christ.
7. Me,
But
my
even at some point, that kinda discouraged me from having
sisters, and
visitors
2
over
kids. Yeah.
because it was already a packed house.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we talked
So
about like the pros of having, like for me, I think the biggest pro for me has been like having a living babysitter at times.
Yeah,
mm,
Like that's definitely a pro for living with people.
absolutely. Could not agree with that more,
Yeah.
especially when they absolutely adore your kid. Like, yeah, it makes it so much. I almost all the roommates that I lived with were absolutely obsessed with my son, and so anytime I needed to go anywhere, they would they had him. So
Mhm.
it was always nice.
Jada Contessa said, "And a partridge in a pear tree." Thank you for finishing my nursery rhyme. Okay, so what
Um,
about dating with people with roommates?
that's always interesting. Um, I was usually the one with the roommates in the dating situation, but I can see how that could be awkward at times if you're coming to our place where there's several people around. But I will say, like, that roommate situation where I had the most roommates, where it was 3 of us and the 2 kids, like, we were kind of like the party house, so whoever came got along with all of us, and
Mm,
so it didn't make it awkward, it was just, like, bonus friends for whoever we were dating.
mm,
So, like, they would just come over, and I mean, Shari went to that house a few times in Oakland, and I was pregnant there the second time I was pregnant and, things like that. But like, it was just bonus people because we were all super chill. Like, it's just the personalities really meshed and we were just,
but my thing is, and given, like, my dating past, like, I don't wanna meet your roommates' friends and all that. So if it was ever a time where I had roommates and then the person that I was, trying to talk to also had roommates, I guess then I said, "We're not I guess we're not going anywhere.
right.
We gotta go out. We're not chilling at anyone's house because I don't wanna see people. I don't want to be in an awkward position where I have to make conversation with your roommate in the kitchen. Like, I don't wanna me personally, I don't wanna deal with that.
You're walking out the room in a t-shirt. Not just kidding. Like, oh,
I don't
hey,
wanna
what's
have
up?
those weird encounters.
Yeah, I think maybe it's just because I was younger though, but like that stuff didn't bother me. I don't know. Maybe I was the cool roommate because I was just
The married couple that my last roommate, so that was one of their things that they had mentioned before moving in was, hey, can you be mindful of the guys you bring home? Like, I don't want to come, I don't want to like go to the kitchen in the middle of the night and there's a guy in the kitchen. And I'm like, baby, don't worry about that because I've never brought anybody home.
yeah. Well, that's good. That worked out. Yeah.
I think for roommates, I think it kind of goes back, like we've had the conversation of like people that you mesh with. And
Mhm.
I think for me, like moving in with a married couple, being single, I think that was like already a
Mm,
lot. I think you bit
Yeah.
off way more than you could chew with that situation, especially
Mhm.
like a newly married couple too. Like they should have wanted to live on their own. I think that was
yeah,
like maybe just a financial situation,
it
but
definitely was.
yeah, and I think like they should have
And that
fought.
should have been the first fucking red flag. The
Yeah,
more you
but
learn,
like
making
I
sense
think
now.
like that, like you can't be single or married wanting to move in with the opposite. Like that's
Right.
just a
Yeah.
lot, or someone who doesn't really care for kids and doesn't have their own kids moving with somebody who has kids. Like it's
Yeah.
just you gotta kind
Mhm.
of blend together and mesh with who you're living with because your thought process on things may not be the same as mine and
Mhm.
vice versa when you have different living situation or different lifestyle situations.
Yeah, it's just so we kind of highlighted that too, saying I wouldn't live with a person with kids. There's just too many rules and considerations, which again, if
Yeah.
the lifestyles don't match, then you might not mesh.
Mhm.
Hmm.
So, and that goes with kids, that goes with marriage, that goes with whatever phase in life you're in,
Yeah.
just may not mesh
Yeah,
well.
because see, like for me with kids, like I could never move somebody into my house that I didn't trust
Yep.
around my kids or
Mm,
didn't trust their lifestyle around my kids because I'm not going to live with somebody with kids, whether I was in a relationship or not. If it was just me and my kids, I'm not going to move somebody in who's single, who wants to
mm,
date, and have all these people in and out the house because it's like, absolutely not. My children are here.
Right.
yeah, that's
I
true.
think, like, again, you've got to just figure out, like, what your lifestyle is. Now, if you have somebody that's single that's like, oh, I'm really not dating, I don't really care for that, won't bring nobody home,
Mhm.
fine, then that's a different story. But yeah, you got to be just really careful.
Yeah. I mean, Shisui, like you mentioned the thing with the kids, there are rules and a lot of considerations if you're moving in with somebody with kids, but that's why these conversations again need to happen ahead of time, right?
Hmm.
Or you need to actually know the person that you're moving in with so you know what they're about. Like the people that I lived with, I knew for years
Yeah.
before we ever moved in together, for years,
Hmm.
and we hung out all the time. Like it wasn't like it's just somebody who I was hanging out with every now and then or things
Yeah.
like that. Like they were people that like I honestly considered family. Like that's how much I trusted them. I mean,
Yeah.
this is not talking partners, right? That's a whole different conversation. But like my actual roommate situations. Um and yes, most of them were real mellow, like low key, even though most of them were single. Like they weren't bringing people home, they weren't
Mhm.
doing none of that. And it wasn't even a conversation that we had to have about that. It was just kind of an understanding like, hey, I know you got a kid and I'm gonna be respectful of that. But again, to each his own, like
Yeah.
you have to know what you're getting yourself into.
And sometimes those kind of scenarios change midway because I
Mhm.
know that it was highlighted like I lived with a married couple. They were not married before we decided to move in together. So
Yeah.
that was the lifestyle that changed. I knew them for a couple of years. We had been, going through that we thought that we meshed well. But that phase of life shifted midway. And then you kind of started seeing, to Shari's point, like the married couple, like they should have gotten a place on their own.
Yeah.
Whatever, for whatever reason they didn't. But they needed that. And I think a good part of why I decided to move out is my emphasis on y'all are married. Y'all do need that time by
Mhm.
yourselves. I try to make it so civilized that it really is a lot of their like in considerations. It's not that they were not considerate, they were just not considerate of me. They were considerate of each other, which makes sense. But
Right.
it didn't work in this dynamic.
And
And I
you
wouldn't
just need
want
to live
to continue
together.
that way. Yeah.
Yeah.
So sometimes it's just like, how do you end roommates on a good note? Because clearly mine's did not work out well, even with a civilized conversation. So Teresa, you said that a lot of your roommates, situation kind of ended on good notes.
Yeah.
How did that go?
Honestly, I think it's because of how we were with each other throughout. You know what I mean? I think how it's going to end is determined from the beginning and through the whole time we're there. So I think because we always had a lot of open communication and really honestly talked to each other about the things we liked, the things we didn't like, things like that, like it wasn't unexpected when it was time to go our separate ways because we were already having conversations about it. We were already letting each other know, like, hey, you know what? I think I can afford to live on my own now. And, my kid's getting a little older,
Mhm.
whatever the case might be, to where it was respectful and it was understood. And we made sure that in all those situations that I was in, we made sure that together that the other person, the other party was going to be okay. Like it was in a timeline where we could both be okay moving out of this situation, especially if it was like we were living together for financial reasons.
Mhm.
Yeah. Jada Countessa said, I think it's hard when people have different ideas of what is being respectful. That's a great point. But and I feel like I sound like a broken record. It all goes down to knowing who you're going to live with.
Mm.
Like, you can't just fucking live with a stranger. That I won't do.
That I won't do.
That I won't do. I know people that have done that. I'm not one of them. But like, yeah, you have to figure that out. I do have a question for you, Bianca, especially like because you were living with a married couple. Did
Mhm.
you guys split the rent 50-50 or did you guys split the rent three ways?
Three-way.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
I was gonna say good, yeah.
And
Because
that's what sucks too, because like when they're late on rent, I'm like, okay, well, who is late on the rent? Because I can afford to spot $100, $200 if you don't have it all.
yeah,
Do you not have your entire 2/3 or what's going on? Because
right.
I don't care if you're not willing to share that with me, but y'all have majority, so I feel safe
Right.
enough to say, hey, look, I only got to give you this part. But 2/3 is a big part to not have. And
Yeah.
that's assuming, worst case scenario that they didn't have the full 2/3. But that's a big portion of the mortgage to not have.
Oh, Nikita made a good point. She said she had to live with strangers in college. I mean, I didn't have a roommate situation like that, like a school type setting. But yeah, a lot of people got to live with strangers in those situations
Yeah.
for
Well,
dorms.
sometimes, yeah, college roommates are sometimes decided for you.
Mhm.
Yeah.
My sister had one too. She was roomed with someone her first semester of college, but that girl did not last long in college, so she ended up having the rest of the room to herself. But
Mhm.
even then, she was like, it's really weird just living with a stranger all of a sudden.
Can I also call out that it's very important that who you live with is on the same level as you when it comes to cleanliness?
Mhm.
Because, and again, I have not had bad experiences, thank God, right? I would knock on wood, but I'm married now. That like it's important that like whoever you live with, if you're a neat freak or whatever, that they're on that same level as you, because then you guys, there's no fighting about it, there's no arguing about it, you're on the same page. But when two people, I've witnessed other people in these situations, when you have one person that likes everything like spick and span, and then they live with somebody who's a fucking slob, like I've seen those go south real quick.
Yeah.
Have you guys had those experiences?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. But to be fair, I didn't know that that was going to be a problem either because anytime that I visited their place, it was always clean. Turns out they just cleaned before, and the rest of the time it's just always a mess. And I'm like,
They cleaned the common areas right before you
yeah.
got there. Yeah.
I'm like, there's just some things you try to pinpoint, you try to navigate, try to troubleshoot as many things as you possibly can before moving in because you want to not be surprised of who it is when you start living with them.
Right.
Sometimes you just can't think of all the scenarios until it's too late. But
But
yes,
it's the same
cleanliness
thing.
was an issue. It
It's the
wasn't
same thing
not
with
so much
partners.
dirtiness, but just having all their shit around everywhere.
Yeah.
Because they had like ADHD or ADD, so they were always doing different tasks, and it was just all be like I can walk you through their day based on what is left out.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I can literally walk you through their day. I can tell you what was going on in their minds
That's
because it was all
crazy.
still there.
Yeah, like they go start one thing, see something else. Yeah,
Yeah.
yep. That's like a mom brain.
Yeah, very much, except they were not moms.
That's like
Thank
a
God.
mom brain.
I don't think I
Yeah.
can handle a person.
No, but it's definitely like a big factor though, as far as that goes. But going back to what you were saying, Bianca, about like ending things on a good note, did any of your roommate situations end on a good note in the past?
Yeah, there was one friend who we just didn't mesh well with the lifestyle,
Mm,
um, just because a lot of the just because a lot of the diet was a big thing. She was a vegetarian, and
yeah,
so we knew that going in, and she didn't think it was going to be a problem because she's like, I've been to restaurants, I can't control that environment,
right.
but if I cooked something at the house, she can smell it. And she's like, this is very much not it. And
Mm,
then also, I was staying with her during COVID where I worked from home for a little bit. So I was getting cabin fever and it just was not working out. So I'm like, baby, for the sake of our friendship, I need to go because
mm.
now we're just arguing, we're just nitpicking. And she understood that. She's like, okay, I'm glad you said it because the friendship is more important. So that one did end well. We're still friends.
Yeah, but communication, right?
Communication.
Yeah,
Communication and understanding, because you can talk to someone and try to get your message across as much as you want, but if
that's
they're not,
so true.
interpreting that or kind of receiving that message, then that's pointless.
Yeah. Shar, what about you? Have you had situations that ended sour or
I mean, more like bittersweet, I would
mm,
say, type of situation. The one person I did have like that stayed with me, like it was cool until it just like a switch flipped one day and it just wasn't, and it was like, oh, okay, and it was more of like, not even, that's why I was like, okay, roommate, yes, but it was more like, oh, I'll help you come stay, like type situation. And then it was like one day you just wake up and it was like, oh, you know what, I'm just gonna leave, and I was like, cool, like
yeah. All right.
all right.
Bye.
But like in hindsight, it was what was best because like I like having my own space. I liked me and my son being on our own and not having to, assist in other people's lives and what they had going on. And I know you said like, oh, being able to come home and vent to people. Like sometimes I don't want to hear that shit. Like
Mhm.
so,
Sometimes I
so,
had a
so
day. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. So like for me, it was more like, okay, thanks for the heads up the day
Right.
of, like more type situation, but like cool, I was fine because like I said, like the financial portion, I'm gonna always make sure like I try to at least always make sure like I could handle it on my own in that situation.
Mhm.
So it was like with or without, like I was gonna be good anyway.
Mm.
Yeah.
Before you came, I'm gonna do it after you leave, type thing. So that situation was definitely bittersweet. With family, it's just an ongoing thing, and there's highs and there's lows in that situation. So,
It's
but
hard with family.
yes, it is very hard with family. But I think that for me, it's mainly about just prioritizing what my immediate miniature family needs, because I got to look out for the kids.
Yeah.
Like
Mhm.
that's most important for me. It's times when I don't even look out for myself. I'm always gonna look out for them and make sure that they're good. So I think I'm kind of in that space right now. It's just prioritizing them over everything else, like making sure what I need to handle is handled.
Yeah.
But then they are it, and I mean it's all for them anyway. But like they're immediate second when it comes to that. So
Yeah.
yeah.
It is kind of like being in a relationship, though. You said something in your statement about like having to prioritize what they have going on in their life, too.
Mm-hmm.
And it is very much like that when you have a roommate. Like you get consumed by everything going on in their life, too. Your life has to kind of like revolve around their life in a sense, too, depending on what they have going on. So I'm
Yeah.
really glad you said that because,
Yeah, and I think like we just said, like being alike, right? Having the same things in common. Like, I
Mm.
don't want to come, like, I like to watch sports. I have to live with someone who likes sports, because it's like you get people who, especially women, who don't. It's like, oh, you're watching sports again. Like, oh, you're going to do this all day Sunday? Yeah, goddamn right, I'm going to do this all day Sunday. When
Right.
I'm into football, you know?
Yeah.
And it's like, it's got to be some common
Hmm.
commonalities that you have with the person that you live with. Otherwise, I think you're setting yourself up for failure.
Or the understanding, like you said, like there's times where you come home and you don't want to talk. You don't want to hear shit. I'm just going to go to my room and chill. And they have to
Don't take it
understand that and
personal.
not, yeah,
Yeah.
not take it
Yes.
personally. Yeah.
Yes.
And
I
that's
think
hard for a lot of people.
I think even now, like, that's the thing. Like, I'm
Mm.
always like, oh, you just go straight to your I just don't have the capacity to process anything else today. I've dealt with 540 children all day, and I don't want to deal with anything else. Like,
Yeah, I would
yeah,
not want to talk after that either.
yeah, the days be daying for me, and it's not like I'm just being rude. Like, I'm just checked out for the rest
Yeah.
of the day. Let me do my thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And I think, like, at the end of the day, too, roommates, you have to decide, like, is it a short term thing or is it a long term thing? Because with friends, with family, sometimes you move in together and this is supposed to be temporary. And
Hmm.
I think both or all roommates in that aspect have to understand, like, or kind of consider what is the time frame before we kind of regroup and do we want to continue this, like, is it 6 months, is it 1 year, or I feel like when you leave something like that open ended, or like family, stay as long as you need until you get back on your feet. Maybe that's up for interpretation. That's never, so with
Now you're
a
going to be stuck with
partner,
me.
you might have to stick a little bit longer and kind of compromise and kind of be more open to communication. But with other situations like friends and family, you do have to lay out that timeline too, that expectation of this is temporary. So what is the next step, or how long are we going to let pass before we evaluate if this is going to be longer than expected, or what's the next step?
Yeah, but I see, even think, like, to your point, right? In the situation you were in, like, that should have been like an essential deal breaker, right? You guys get married, I'm out.
Mm,
Yeah.
Because, like, why would I want to be in a house with a newly married couple? Like,
yeah.
that's a lot.
Newly married couple,
Yeah,
especially. Yeah.
that's a whole nother lifestyle. Like, at this point, it's like we're not even vibing on the same page anymore. So,
Right.
it's like, yeah, like, and you could have had that conversation and been like, okay, well, we'll do this for a year, and 6 months in, they decided to do that.
Yeah.
Okay, well, 6 months in, things have got to change. I'm sorry, like, I can't. It's
Yeah.
just not comfortable for me to be in this situation. So you can have those conversations, but lifestyles can change very quickly depending on whatever. You could have went out and been dating and ended up pregnant. Like, like, it's just, anything could change in a moment. So it's just about
Mhm.
having those conversations of, like, well, let's just keep the communication open, and if things
Yeah.
change, or something that you don't like, or whatever, or I have to do this for me because of XYZ, like, you have to be able to have those conversations and not feel like it's a it's something bad towards you when someone
Mhm.
comes and says something
I
like that.
will say though, I do think that me having experienced a lot of roommates in my like 20s really was when I experienced most of them, did prepare me for like a partnership eventually,
Mm,
because I'm not new to living with someone that I've never lived with before. I'm not new to understanding that, hey, you know what? You're going to see sides of these people that you've never seen before. So it's
yeah.
more expected than unexpected because I've had those experiences. So that's kind of
Mhm.
another pro that I've actually gotten from my situations too.
Yeah, that's just a constant state of communication and consideration throughout the
Yeah,
entire relationship of having roommates.
agreed.
So I think that's a good advice to end on.
Yes, agreed. We are at the top of the hour. Thank you guys for all the comments. There was a lot going on our YouTube today. If y'all missed out on it, y'all might want to go check that out.
Yes.
Um, and if you don't know how to find our pages, let them know how they can find all of our social media.
All right. Well, if you or your roommates have not yet followed us on social media, then you can like, subscribe, and follow us on our Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube at It's No Secret Podcast, as well as our TikTok at It's No Secret Podcast Live. And if you can't join us on our live stream every Wednesday, then you can listen to our audio on Spotify and Apple every Sunday.
Yes.
And according to our comment section, it's no secret.
It's not. Bye.
Bye.